you've just said it, it feels like Vegas was a long time ago. Is that a good thing for the boys to have been able to park it now and look ahead for the rest of the year?
Yeah, well, it does to us too. You know, we had a good little break when we got back. Let the boys get over the travel and the jet lag and get their systems back in order in regards to sleeping and nutrition. So yeah, it does. It feels a little bit like a long time ago, but it's only round 2 now, so we had a good break and good prep leading into this game.
Have they come back just like you would want them to?
Yep, feet are back on the ground. We spoke about that after the game. We wanted to tick off that win with a bit of connection with our fans and sponsors who supported us over to Vegas. Our families, we did that. We had an evening with everybody, and then on the plane the next day, and it was really important that we got straight back into really normality. So got back into a normal routine, and getting back into the right sleeping habits was a really big thing when we arrived back home, and making sure emotionally we were getting ready for round 2, not worrying about round 1.
We've talked a lot about the group this year, and I guess the experience you've lost the young boys. The way they must have they've handled everything, handled the game, like bounced back here. Are you really proud of this group?
What I think, the way we hit Vegas as a club, the way they prepared and played, was a real experience for a lot of those younger players. Experience for everyone who hadn't been to Vegas, and I hadn't been there, so I think it was a really good shot in the arm for us in regards to our connection, in regards to our camaraderie and the mateship we have amongst the players and the staff. It was that experience. We used it as that type of bonding trip, and to their credit, they've bounced back in here fully professional towards their preparation, and they've just left round 1 behind, and that's the way we had to be.
Looks like ticket sales are tracking really well for this week. It feels like it's might be giving fans back here a boost as well to want to get out and see this group.
Yeah, I hope so. It was something I spoke to the players about after we had a couple of days off, and everybody publicly, it was fantastic the support we had over there and back home. Publicly they were getting a pat on the back, and I made sure that we didn't pay attention to that because we had to prepare for a very hard game of football now, and so we left that behind very quickly, which was important. But to the players' credit and the younger players themselves, you can find yourself a little bit with your feet off the ground, but it was one of our my focus for the boys was that let's get our feet on the ground now and start preparing again.
How big could a big, loud, home crowd be for the guys this week? It's going to be a pretty good test against the Broncos.
Yeah, it's a big challenge. They, the boys, they love that noise out there at the stadium when we get a big crowd. It's there's no better feeling.
The Broncos are pretty fast, so anything the rate of speed matches up with them, because we're also pretty quick this year.
Yeah, losing Taps and Xavier is a big loss, especially the way they both played over in Vegas, and that's a massive dent. So now those 2 boys that are coming in to fill those boots have got big jobs to do. But I'm excited about Matty Nicholson. He's nobody's really seen much of Matty, a little bit in the trials, but he's a hard worker. He's a typical Englishman that comes across, and he really digs deep into his training and his development, wanting to improve as a footy player. And Hopper, you know what Hopper's like, and he's a hard worker, and those boys that both want to do their best for the boots they've got to fill up.
How nice is it to have Corey Horsburgh back in the starting side and playing like we know again?
Oh, he's great. We missed Corey last year, and I'm the first one to say that. Corey, fit and healthy, is I think he's got State of Origin this year in front of him. The way he played last week, I'm sure Billy Slater will be very excited about the fact that he's fit, healthy, and got that real positive mentality towards his football.
Just on Matty. I heard you say over in Vegas it was tough to leave him out of that 17
Yeah.
that first game. What have you really liked about what he's done over these last 2
Yeah, that's a really good question. We just had our debutant breakfast. We either do a lunch or a brekkie for our debutants, depending on our schedule of training, etc. and Andrew Bishop emceed the breakfast, and it was an interesting point he brought up, and it was a personal view that we all captured over in Vegas. Matty was visibly upset that he didn't make the first 17, and he handled it like a real clubman. You know, he got in and helped the first 17 prepare really well with our scrimmages and our opposed sessions. He didn't miss a beat at training. You know, so the values of what we noticed there really shows us he's a great young man. And I thought to myself, the way Andrew acknowledged that this morning at the breakfast was a credit to Matty Nicholson, because he was disappointed, and you want the boys to be disappointed. It's so hard. I hate letting people down. I hate letting my players down in regards to, I know how much they want to be in the first 17. And I hate having to tell players that they're not in. That's the worst part of my job. And you lose sleep over it because I don't like upsetting the players. You know, I've got too close of a relationship with them. But the way Matty handled it, and the way he worked for the team last week off field, helping staff out, helping the boys on field at training was, you know, it exposed his personality really.
Obviously, he hasn't played a game yet, but to have a 21-year-old that's been in the club for a couple of months, that must really excite you about, I guess, his buy-in to what the next couple of years could look like.
Yeah, no, he's our 8th Englishman, and we haven't had an Englishman that to play NRL here that hasn't made a difference. You know, we just had a message from Elliot Whitehead sent over a video message, and you know, typical Elliot told all the boys on his message that Matty Nicholson had great big boots to fill in regards to Elliot not being here. But it was nice. It was a nice message from Elliot. But you know, every Englishman that's come across here and played NRL has done a wonderful job for himself, but also the club.